not what's on the side of them. They don't really care.
Right.
They have to get home to have that first beer or do whatever is more important.
Okay, we will open this meeting of March 1st, 2012. Let the record show that Selectman Dawson is not present. Time being 1 o'clock. We started a little earlier to try to get ahead of the storm. First on our agenda is John Kramer, right? You said. John has an issue that's brought before us on the crosswalks and the safety issue crossing the walks. I'm just going to table it until the chief arrives, and Catherine, you said he's going to arrive at any time now, 1 o'clock. Okay, so if you can wait just a few minutes, we can try to talk with the chief and see if we can come to a resolve. See if we can't come to a...
I myself don't know what they could possibly do. People are so ignorant, they just don't care.
Yeah.
Well, cite them when they're in violation, when they see them,
Exactly,
certainly.
absolutely.
He assured us that he was going to do that.
Yep.
But how often do you see something like that? And if they see a police car, they'll stop,
Oh, yeah, of course they will.
you know?
He has to be in an unmarked cruiser or
Just happened.
backed up somewhere where they can't see him.
Trying to cross the street himself.
I was so happy one day. I was going down towards Laconia way, and the light at 140, exit 20 there,
Right.
going my way, had changed to red. And the people on this side here waiting to cross, all the lines were full. And this guy in a pickup truck didn't see the cop car sitting there. Well, when the light turned red, he punched it. And he went flying through that light, doing about 50. And he, either the passenger or he saw the cop, but he knew he was bad. So he pulled into the Tilton Diner, and the cop pulled in right behind him. So he had a few words.
Shut this off.
They weren't words of praise.
Right.
Okay. All right, couple of things going through the FYI file. One is there is a Fire Commissioners meeting on Wednesday, March 7th at 5:30. Although I don't know all of the details, I do know that it is in fact about our fire chief, and he has asked for the meeting to be public.
Well, I intend to be there
So it'll be here at town meeting.
on Wednesday.
March 7th.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
Yes.
They usually meet at
Have one
5:30.
at 7:30 as well on the 7th. An advertised meeting.
This is advertised. 5:30. They usually meet at 5:30 most often.
Right.
I probably just wrote down the wrong time.
This is on the residency. This is a shoreline impact permit for JAL Winnisquam Development. And this is Laconia Road. That was approved by DES. Does Conservation get a copy of this as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So once it comes here, it goes to Conservation as well. For Carl and Angela Macon for Pearl Lane, Tilton. And this looks like a, oh, this is a complaint that they have filled wetlands on your property without a permit or proper authorization. This letter is to notify you of this complaint to provide you with an opportunity to respond. Where's Pearl Lane?
Pearl Lane is over there.
Lockmere?
Wasn't Pearl where that property was that we sold to the
Yes, you know
abutter?
that
Right.
little piece that we sold?
Okay, that's what I thought it was. These are different names on it, just so it's next door then.
Yeah.
Okay. We have our,
This is the Winnisquam, you know, the development that was the housing
Monroe?
units. Yes, it was RJ Monroe. It's now JAL Winnisquam Development.
I'm going to look at the map and lot number for this one.
R22,
2032.
lot 32. Does it sound like it's... Old wetlands without a proper permit. We find no record of a permit? Howdy. Oh, we haven't turned any lights on yet. Yes, please. We only turned the two middle ones on. You gotta turn the other switch too. There you go.
I'm looking for internet access. Here it is. Okay, Winnisquam Regional School District, Laconia Area Community Land Trust. Oops, didn't explain this difficult to, okay.
That's the same note.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is, all right, this is all stuff you read last week.
Yep.
Okay. Chief, well, this is Mr. Kramer, and Mr. Kramer has a concern about crosswalk, the safety of the crosswalk. He's had a couple occasions crossing this crosswalk over here to the Big Apple. On one occasion, he's yelled back to the person, and they've yelled obscenities to him, but nobody's stopping when it's clear out. On a day like today, I can see that they don't see that there's a crosswalk there, but, so I asked him to give us a few minutes until you arrived, and maybe we could come up with a resolve. Maybe we could have better patrol or explorers run by you, what we could do.
No, we directed guys down there the other day, and they did a foot beat in the middle of the day to focus on that, basically crosswalks, and During the summer, we have the explorers that kind of station themselves at each crosswalk, and they do parking enforcement. And we put out all the fluorescent signs on all the crosswalks, but this time of the year, the plows will hit them, so we keep them off the road. And, during the day, if the guys aren't handling calls, with the exception of days like today, we're going to start to have them pay attention to the crosswalks. What would help us is if we knew any particular time that is better to have them down there.
What usually, do you have a special time that you walk, or is it generally at the same time, or?
It could be any time during the day that I walk down through town. I go for a walk, I go get a paper. I'll cross at this crosswalk here. I'll walk downtown, I'll cross at the one by the Tilton House of Pizza. And like I told you, the people acting like I'm a ghost, that doesn't get me as much as my yelling out to somebody that there's a crosswalk here and a woman rolling the window down and telling me, go F yourself.
Did you get her plate number?
That rubbed me the wrong way.
If we get the plate number, we can follow up on individual.
And the thing is, I couldn't get her number because there was a couple of cars behind her. But she yelled out loud enough so half of Tilton could probably hear what she said.
What did the car look like?
Pardon?
The car, what it look like? The car? The vehicle?
I don't know what kind of vehicle. I know it was a truck. That's all I know. Because like I say, there was a couple cars behind her, so I couldn't tell if it was a Chevy or Ford. I couldn't see the plate. All I could see was that there was a woman driving and it was a truck.
What color was it?
I believe it was gray. I don't quote me on it. But it was a clear day. It was a summer day. And I had been standing at that crosswalk for a couple of minutes. I mean, it wasn't like 2 or 3 cars. It was probably a dozen cars that before I finally really had it and yelled out, "There's a crosswalk right there." And that's when I got a reply from the woman.
What's your first name? Is it K-R-E?
A-R-A-N-E-R.
Remember what date?
Was it back last summer? Was it back last summer?
It was just past summer.
During the summertime?
Pardon?
It was during the summer?
Yeah.
We have signs that says state law stop for people in the crosswalks, right?
I know they were down here for several hours this week because this came up at the meeting last week, so I asked them to come down and do a walk and beat between railroad tracks to railroad tracks, watch the crosswalk violations.
Yeah,
I think one of the,
Northfield now, my boy walks a lot And I believe there's a crosswalk down by the library. He had walked, he hadn't walked the dirt road because it was covered with snow. So he had come up the side and he crossed the crosswalk there. And people weren't stopping. And he yelled out to somebody about there being a crosswalk there. And he hadn't walked for more than 3 or 4 minutes when he had 2 police cars around. Wanting to know why he was yelling at the traffic, and he told them. And one of the people was texting while she was driving. And so Northfield isn't alone. They have the same problem that they have here in Tilton. People don't want to stop at the crosswalk. It's too much water.
I think that one of the concerns, Chief, is that Mr. Kramer is disabled, so that when he's walking across there, that it's a real concern because he's making it at a slower speed than someone else is making it. And regardless, I think it does make an impact on that. We should be making some type of effort to see that that's... I think we should make some type of effort to see within the next... You travel a lot on foot, correct? And you're always walking around here in Tilton.
As I had mentioned before you came in, at this crosswalk out here, I was crossing from the town hall right here to the monument, and a car stopped, and the person inside waved me on, and somebody come whipping right around that car and locked the brakes up, and they would have had me if I hadn't hooked it a little bit. And, car stops at a crosswalk. There's got to be a reason that person stops at a crosswalk. There has to be a person there. And for somebody to ignore that person in front of them and buzz around them, I mean, you know, one of these days it could be me that's flying over somebody's foot and they'll move and onto the ground.
I think that's what we want to try to avoid. If you can, not on camera because we're on camera and video, but if you can possibly go over to the chief and give him your telephone number and perhaps maybe he can get in touch with you. We'll be in touch with the chief and try to work things out to what you decide with. He'll talk with his lieutenants and come up with a plan. We'll be back in touch with you to see what and let you know what the plan is. Okay?
The other thing that I want to suggest is when it happens again, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when. Try to get their plate number.
Yeah.
And call the police right away.
Well, like on my street, Arch Street, like I was saying, the people fly down Arch Street. I have stood out there with a pad and a pencil, and I've taken down half a dozen numbers and walked down to the police station and given it to them. License, plate number, make, and color if I could get it. Because sometimes, like I say, they move 45 miles an hour down there. I know they're not doing 25.
I wouldn't even dare to do that on our street.
Well, you're in a different town, in a different chief in a different police unit, so,
I understand that, but I'm
Right.
just using that
Right.
as a reference, you know. I do try and get plate numbers.
yeah.
And then-
If you can do that, the chief will give you his phone number, a way to get in touch with him, and you give him your phone number so that he's able to get in touch with you before you leave, and that way we can get back in touch with you. We're going to come up with a plan to try to
Yeah.
work something out.
My phone's right here.
Right.
They have a camera on it?
Yes, it does.
Take a picture. Take a picture.
Yep.
Yeah, if I,
That would be awful quick to be,
All you gotta have, when you're getting ready to cross the street, you gotta have the phone.
have it ready.
Ready to
That's,
go.
that's a good idea, have it ready.
Yeah.
If they try to do it, boom, right there, that's a good idea.
I got you.
I gotcha.
Her rights. A picture says 1,000 words.
Right,
yeah, I can do that.
Yep.
But I do try and get their plate numbers as
Right.
often as I can.
we will do the best we can. I appreciate you coming in and bringing it in front of us. We will try to do the best we can to, whatever we can do to help the situation.
Yeah. The other side here.
Thank you for coming in.
Okay.
Chief, make sure you get
Thank
that
you very much,
information.
Mr. Kramer.
Okay, approval of minutes 1-5. It's coming from somewhere over there.
I'd like to make a motion to bring the minutes of January 5th to the floor for discussion and ultimate approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So any questions, concerns, corrections? No? Oh, we're still reading.
No.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 5th, 2012.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of January 5th, 2012. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Okay, I have a note that Senator Jeannie Forster has confirmed that she will be here at the Selectmen's meeting on March 22nd, 2012 at 6 p.m. So welcome any and all that would like to speak with Senator Forster. Town report cover. What does everyone think about the town report cover?
I like it.
I like it.
I like it as well.
I make a motion we use the Grange as our town cover this year, just as it appears here.
I like the sign in front.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. That's a Home Depot advertisement on the front
Yeah,
of...
but what it's indicating is Home Depot helped us out with it.
Yeah, I get that too.
They did the
I'll
work.
second the motion.
A motion's been made and seconded to use the renovated Grange Hall Senior Center as the cover of the 2011 annual report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How should we be referring to this?
Tilton Senior Center.
Tilton Senior Center?
We voted,
That's the official name.
just about a year ago
Yeah.
to rename it the Tilton Senior Center.
So what the donations, the donations will be to the Tilton
Senior
Senior,
Center,
not to the Grange.
not to the Grange, no. It should be Town of Tilton Senior Center. Right?
A lot of people are still calling it the Grange, so.
And we welcome any
We'll
donations.
continue, no
Listen,
doubt.
I still call this store over here Meserves, and it's not. It hasn't been for
Oh, I still
nigh
live in
on
the
30
Shaw
years.
House.
They,
I still live in the Shaw House.
Yes, you do. You haven't been here long enough for it to be the Plessner house.
30 years, right?
No, that's nothing.
34, actually. Yes.
Right. Go ahead.
While you're talking about the town report, I do have a where we are,
Okay.
how many pages,
Okay.
and also, there'll be probably about a half-page list of donations to the various projects this year. I thought that while the dedication will take about a half page, perhaps on the back front cover, the dedication could be at the top, half page, and the bottom half the page, referring to the cover. Tilton Senior Center should also list the donations there.
For just the Tilton Senior Center?
No, it's going to be for every, by project, these are,
Because we have a huge list. Our list for the Tilton Senior Center, for each level of our projects, has been every business, every community organization has come together to make this happen.
Numerous residents. It's been hard.
Numerous residents, just when we thought it was all going to be buttoned up and we were ready to open it, a resident came forth and said, let's paint the main hall. So that's being painted this week. So there was a few people that jumped in on that and
I was focusing on things that actually been run through the towns.
so they're all coming in through the town. This is all monies coming in through the town. We don't handle any of the monies at all. This is all monies that come into Tilton Senior Center, Town of Tilton Senior Center. They're still coming in.
There may be some that just may not have on the list. Something we can look it up on.
I just think the list is huge.
How was the dedication to get a copy of it?
From our cash receipts, I don't know what
Yeah.
Dedication to Vicky.
I loved it. Did you get our response? I loved it. I answered.
I knew what I wanted to say,
Yeah.
but boy, getting it onto paper, it's
It
just,
was
I
excellent.
want it to sound trite.
Yeah, it was excellent.
You did an excellent job. I wrote back too. I don't know if you got it or not.
Well, I
but-
haven't.
Yeah.
Well,
If you, but I think that would be, I think that would be fine. If you're going to do a town-wide donation, that would be for everyone in town-wide, because when our target date for our opening is going to be May 9th, hopefully. We're hoping to have a whole list, because we have, for instance, our bathroom is, our ADA bathroom, the toilet and sink was donated by the Granite Group in Concord. And so, it's not monetary value that's come through the town, but it is a huge donation because they're extremely expensive. So,
Who's going to do the townwide donations? I'll have the board look at it before it goes in, so, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get every single little thing.
no, we have a lot of people that have done.
Got no internet going here?
It's on the second page.
Okay.
I think that would be better if we just did townwide donations and not have it look like on the back of the dedication that it's the Tilton Senior Center. If it doesn't appear that it's not just the Tiltons, we have to make it known that it's not just the senior center. And then later during our time, when we have our dedication to the senior center, our opening, then we'll have a whole list of, and that will probably take 2 pages at least, of just listings of people that have donated, which we are forever grateful.
So the way I got up here was on the second page, which...
I like the way you just slid right in there. Okay?
I'm going. So the second page shows you the status of the town report sections, and we have a few things that Joyce and I are working on filling in, the ones that are shaded on the right. Otherwise, currently, with the kitchen sink included, it's 143 pages, which is about 10% greater than last year, and should be able to come down some. If you look towards the bottom, Lockmere Village Water District there's 13 pages listed there. That's their entire report, but it can probably be boiled down to the financial information. Some of it was really superfluous that wouldn't necessarily need to be printed in the annual report. So that could probably be brought down some. Some of the notable things that changed from last year, we have 20 pages of town meeting minutes and election results because of the 3 meetings last year.
right.
So we're pushing it in terms of the capacity of the spine, the spiral spine. But we have all the supplies downstairs, and once we are ready to go, it will be available for compilation. If we had it to 100 pages, it could be run right on the copier, double stapled.
I have a question. Personally, I'm wondering why we would need such things as the underground storage tank agreement in the town report.
What if we had a separate
What,
handout?
right, if we had a separate handout at town meeting, would that make a difference? I mean, does it,
That would be fine, it's just that we, when we had originally discussed doing the warrant, it says in our warrant that a copy's in the town report.
Oh, that's...
oh, okay.
But if we could go and just, at that meeting, just refer, we have handouts.
Either that or stick a handout in the back of the town report. They
Right.
Say again?
could Stick the handout in the back of
Right
the town
into the
report.
Yep.
Well, the other thing we could have at town meeting that we've done in the past is have a copy of the warrant, the budget, and what we could do is include the underground storage tank agreement in that stapled set. So the thing that, you know, people might not bring their book with them to town meeting, but they get one of those, and that
Right.
could have then the entire agreement with it.
I think that would be wise, because they would really want to informed,
That'd be easy to do.
right.
And the information will be in one.
We could have copies, we have also just have the copy of the warrant itself as well here, correct? On the downstairs by the tax clerk. Don't we have just the warrants?
Down there
The
now?
reason we split it up like that before is because most people pick up their annual reports down here and at voting.
Right.
So come town meeting day, we remind people, you know, they already have their annual report, but then they might have forgotten it, but at least they can pick up the paper copy of just
Right.
the warrant and budget.
Do we make just paper copies for the people just that want those for the warrants now to come to town hall and pick those up?
No.
If somebody wanted the agreement ahead of time to look that over, we would be able to supply them with that agreement.
And we can have it on the website. I don't think we have it on the website yet, do we?
We don't have the agreement on the website. We have the warrant and budget. But as soon as this is finalized, there's no reason why we can't run off all the supplements as well that would be done,
Right.
you know, handed out at town meeting itself. So they could be available if people wanted to pick one up for some reason. They didn't want the full set.
Well, the things that, wow, Catherine's report's 2 pages? Amazing.
No, she's an active health officer.
Oh, very active. It's amazing. It shows the increase. Now, some, like, for instance, chat or recycling, we're duplexing them on one page and then putting it on the other side of the page, or no?
Oh, the whole book is two-sided, yeah.
So why would we call that two? Oh, I see, you do one, all right.
2 pages.
Yeah. Now, there is some where, in fact, chat and recycling are a good example. They're really 1.5 pages, so between the two of them, they may end up being 3, kind of squished together. You know, not squished, but, you know, having it, the heading just won't be at the top for one of them,
Right.
you know, at the top of the page for recycling. So,
Really?
yeah, that's okay. It'll be in the index, and it'll be noticeable. We've done that.
And you can give chat top billing.
I'm not sure, I don't care who gets top billing, but I'm not sure I like that. But,
Either that or you end up with a lot of white space.
Right. We did that a little bit last year, didn't we?
and we put pictures in.
Both. Yeah, we've done both. Depends on what the content is.
What is it that we need for the Lockbear Village District? What other pages that we need from there do we need? We don't need the whole, last year we didn't put the entire report in.
No, and for the Northfield Water District, Tilton Northfield Water District, we have a one-page letter. We have a lot to choose from the water district. There's their budget, which is probably about half those pages, because it's in the DRA form, which is unfortunate because it's really probably only about a dozen numbers, but put into the DRA form, it's 6 pages. It's an exaggeration, but you get.
You have to print off all the stuff that doesn't apply. That one, yeah.
There's a lot in there. You know, it's possible that could be, you know, way curtailed. What do you think, Joyce?
Oh, I think you can just, why can't we put it on the website?
No, the water district has to be in there. That's one of the ones that have,
Water district's just one page. It's the Lockmere.
Lockmere. It's a village. They have to be in there. That's one of the required to be in there.
Well, whatever we end up putting in,
Lockmere and Tilton Northfield.
we could reference the rest of the report being,
But it's what part of Lockmere do we put in there?
Definitely the financials, but what you're saying the only financials they have is that.
The 3 pages.
the MS 37.
If
It says,
they can't condense it into a one-page thing like the sewer or what?
it should be able to, but someone's going to have to do it.
And it shouldn't be you. It should be them.
It won't be me. Well, in any case, that can probably come down quite a bit. So if that ends up being, say, 3 pages with a reference to the rest of the report being online, it has their officers and when their term expires, things like that.
Yep. So is there anything else that we can we look into the
It's finishing up. Finishes up here, and then it starts the zoning board. And see, they changed the font a little bit, and it's still, you know that you've come upon a different, this is part of another report.
but this is land use though, and then zoning. So
Yeah.
it's kind of,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, so you can definitely tell there's a separate report here, is all I was getting at. And see, then there starts, this is Park Commission, and then
Park
Park
Commission.
Stat, and Sewer Commission. But they're kind of all run together, but you still,
yep.
the titles are, prominent enough to where you know you're in a different
Yep.
area.
Well, I get that.
It just saves having a whole lot of empty white space.
So we just did, for the village, we didn't do all of it, did we? We did.
That's their MS 37.
And their budget, we did. We put their budget in as well.
Which I think is part of that MS 37.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yep, it is. So their MS-37 is
It's
7 pages.
yeah, I was going to say 6, 7 pages, yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 pages.
The other thing to point out that's a little different from last year is on, you have the warrant, or your warrant, and then between that and the budget, only the budget follows directly, but all the other items that support the warrant, such as the impact fee ordinance, the zoning map, and charter permitted uses, those are all following the warrant before you get to the budget.
Yep.
So those would actually be all, Joyce, different colored pages. Would be the blue insert. So, that whole section from the Town of Tilton warrant through the sewer budget would be the blue insert.
Right.
So about 24 pages, 12 sheets of paper. Okay, so that's where that stands, and from what I understand, it needs to be available Tuesday for pickup.
Okay, so are we all in agreement on the underground storage to have that included in on the single warrants available at town meeting?
Yeah.
And that eliminates the 7.
And this has to be, people have to be able to come in this coming Tuesday to pick up reports?
Are we also in agreement that we'll just put in the MS-37 for the Lockmere district?
Well, I haven't seen any of their documents. What's making up these 13 pages?
They have there's a cover page noting their meeting dates, times. They have officers and when their terms expire. They have a letter, things of that sort.
Is there any way we can kind of condense it? If I look at it,
Do
I
four
know,
up on a
The
page.
thing is,
We haven't done it the last 2 years, Joyce. We've only put in their MS-37.
and who
Right.
is we? Why should we, the town of Tilton, spend time and effort condensing their report? They should be told that, we can only allow you X number of pages, and they're gonna have to make it fit.
we did. The notices went out to everybody to try and keep it to one page.
Yeah, well, they certainly didn't listen.
They give us the report every year at budget season. They don't give it to us for the, right,
April, May, they drop it off because they're on a different.
right. All right.
Anyway, March 6th, annual report with budget needs to be made available.
All right, well, then I guess my next question is, we'd originally just thought about coming in tomorrow to run off town reports, but it doesn't sound like we're going to be ready to do that tomorrow. Can you be ready tomorrow?
If we get these last few things and just some tidying up, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm trying to leave days open so I can come in and just work on this and get it done, but we have to have all the information together first.
This can be done as soon as our meeting's over.
I'd be willing to help, but on the 5th, I'm taking my son to college, so I have to make up that day at the office.
Are we working the weekend at all? Or we just let us know what can be done, and if we can be here, we can be here?
Right,
Because I can come in some part of the weekend
yeah, I can.
and help.
We can get a
I'm
big
around.
chunk of them done anyway, then that way we can continue next week, but we'll have enough available.
I think last year we were turning out about 50 a day or more per day. And
We needed how
I
many?
think for the first day, I think we had ready 100 last year, and I think we still had probably 60 by the end of the first day. So as long as we have supply for that first day,
Yep.
I think between you and Friday and Monday, as long as there's no problems printing these out, which I think we'll see.
Have you printed this out in black and white?
No, I haven't. Would you prefer it to be black and white?
Oh, is it going to be color?
That's what,
Okay,
I thought.
okay. I remember the last,
Last year.
it was black and white.
Yep,
That we only did so many in color.
Right. That's what I thought this was going to, but I like it like this. I think it would be really dark in black and white.
It probably would be. I'd probably have to use one of the other pictures.
Right.
The inside where on the bottom half of the cover, where if the donations works out there could also be a note about the cover picture of the Tilton Senior Center, the renovated, formerly known as the Grange Hall, so on and so forth. Something like that. And then also it's a matter of, I know you have some before and after pictures,
right.
where those would be dropped in. So there's still some decisions tomorrow, I suppose, that would have to be made, but the sooner we have that and put them into, white space, sooner we're cranking them up.
I have lots of before and after pictures. Some before are just like,
Well, the other thing too is, if you have that, are you going to have that as part of the presentation?
I think we're working on, Tom is working on that. I had made up a little video kind of a thing that's a draft right now, but he's kind of working on that.
So while I happen to be here, if I still have a few minutes, I was asked to prepare something which discussed the betterments and the cost of the betterments. So I'll just say that this is my opinion. Oftentimes I can exclude my own personal opinion things, but since I am on a Lockmere, in the Lockmere project, I guess I feel a little more strongly. But in any event, if starting at the top, the cost and complexity of the sewer projects are much greater than in years past. State monies are not guaranteed. And as we well know, town meeting participants, it's one of these things that if it doesn't affect me, hey, why not? But it could, in effect, see where people voting at a town meeting could pass something that burdens one particular subset of the town without impacting them. The other thing, too, that I find just amazing is that, some of these bonds have such significance, and yet, we have such a great process with planning, but when it comes to a bond at town meeting, DRA or no one else requires that if it's going to, a particular property owner, here, if you put up a shed or make some kind of change to your property, you have to notify your abutters a certified letter. Here, it's just the warrant, and you come, and that's it. So I find that just amazing. And then, of course, we all know the issue of the ownership. If you look at the actual numbers, though, so starting with Andrews Road, the project was, the bond was started in 1999. It matures in 2029. There are 51 parcels at one rate and one parcel at a second rate. The second one is 3M. The original debt, if you look at the second column in, the original debt was $384,250. Right underneath there, it shows the total principal and interest payments remaining on that debt. So as of 2012, 1/1/2012, there was $413,867 of payments remaining. Because, if you think about a mortgage, you take it out for $200,000, but you're actually repaying $360 or what have you, based on interest. So in the third column, and you see the annual payments. 51 properties pay $15,810. One property pays $2,750. But you look at the parcel average. That's $357 average per parcel. The original debt per parcel average was $7,369. The remaining payments per parcel is $7,959. That betterment area represents $12,234,000 of total valuation, or 2.38% of the total town value, which raises at a tax rate of $6.70. It raises almost $82,000 in local taxes. If you factor in the betterment on top of the local tax rate, it goes from $6.70 to $8.22, or a rate difference increase of $1.52. For Laconia Road, which was started in 2002, it matures in 2022, or 20-year. The original debt was $465,000. The principal and interest payments remaining $391,000. The annual payment, the parcel average. The original debt per parcel was $2313. The remaining per parcel is $1946. It represents 5% of the total town valuation. And the difference in the tax rate due to the parcel is $1.36, bringing the local town portion up to $8.06. Northern Shores is a little different because it was combined with Noyes Road, and it's more difficult to ascertain what the original debt per parcel was. Some people had actually been allowed to prepay their betterment also, so I prefer to skip this one at this point. It's just not as easy to determine it, and it's nearly repaid also. It matures in 2015. If you look at the Lockmere project, which matures in 2036, there are 225 parcels with $2.552 million of original debt, $3.861 million remaining. Annual payments of $154,000. The parcel average is $686 per parcel. And the original debt per parcel was $11,003. The remaining payments per parcel $17,160. The valuation of the Lockmere project area is $43 million, or 8% of the town. And the local tax rate at $6.70 brings in $288,000 of taxes, local taxes. The effective rate with the betterment increases that to $10.29, or ups it by $3.59, which is a 53.6% increase. So
That's to the people in that district.
in that district. So it is, I'm not beating around the bush. I mean, I'm saying here very clearly, it's unfair and burdensome. The average parcel is nearly double the next closest betterment. The average parcel payment represents a 50%, over 50% increase in the local town tax rate, and has the highest burden per parcel of remaining payments by several times. It's not 3 times, it's more like 2.5 times. What I thought should be done, not that you necessarily asked, but if there were a split, considering the fact that this can't count on the state, and that future projects require an awful lot of regulation, engineering, possibly archaeological, things. There's so much to these projects that the town and property owners share a certain percentage. My thought was 40-60. The town sharing 40% of the costs of any betterment, including these listed here, but from this point forward as well, and the property owner covers 60%. This happens to fit well with the fact that we have $80,000 of debt maturing this year through the Silver Lake Road project, which is essentially 40% of our Lochmere betterment, or our total betterment payments, annual payments of $220,000. So, in effect, if that warrant were to pass at town meeting, saying do away with these betterments, it has a 43-cent per thousand effect on the tax rate. 43 cents. If it were a shared responsibility, because some people will never be on it, type of thing, if it's shared, it works out to be 16 cents per thousand. The thing that I see as a potential problem down the road is even if you don't agree that it's burdensome, then I think it's fair to say that it's going to be very difficult to get at least 225 property owners or those occupants to be able to vote for things that might need to be done down the road that are going to be much higher dollars. And not just betterment projects, but resurfacing projects or building projects or whatever it may be, because they're saddled with $10.29, and they may have less of a tolerance for any additional spending than other property owners within the town.
I'm one of those guys. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So these are my personal opinions. I've presented you the factual information about the debt as far as I know. Were the Lochmere project spread out over 520 parcels, be a totally different story, because it'd be much on par with the other projects. But it is significantly different from the other betterment projects. So hopefully that gives you what you're looking for in terms of tax rate and other.
Do we have an idea of what the upcoming sewer projects are coming up?
I personally have no idea. I don't know.
I mean, I know that there's one coming up. Catherine had mentioned one on Main Street. Well, if we talked to you and or considered the 40-60, you still would be in a catch-22, because they're all business owners downtown doing that. And down here, Town Hall. Where would we be in that situation? We would still... This whole thing is a catch-22. We're going back on years of debt and now trying to spread it over town-wide.
We're going to be retiring additional debt, like all the Riverfront Park. That's all going to go away in a couple years.
2016.
So that in the future, I mean...
But that doesn't make it okay to take on all this other debt that everyone else wasn't going to have. I mean, yes, I understand that, in in a couple of years that we're retiring old debt ourselves in the town, but here's the sewer on these projects that a lot of our town wasn't part of, that will probably not even be a part of it in the future. There are some areas in town that don't have sewer and won't have sewer. And they're going to be burdened with a, possibility, if everything passed, 43 cents on their tax. So it's kind of a catch-22. And that's what I'm saying. It really is,
You're definitely gonna get the people, why should I subsidize something that I get no benefit?
I completely understand.
But on the other hand, and I can see both sides of the coin, is that by doing this, we're kind of alleviating an area that's been very hard hit. We all benefit from it in the fact that the lakes are cleaner, we don't have to worry about that. The other thing is, I haven't set foot in Silver Lake since I was a kid, and I don't anticipate going there because I don't have any access. So, I mean, there's a lot of issues. It's kind of a thorny beast because, you got people that, up on the top of Caleb Hill Road, as you said, Pat, they're never going to see sewer.
Right.
And, even on Clark Road, it's highly unlikely I'll see sewer in my lifetime.
Well,
I certainly feel for the people that are paying this, especially a lot of them are mobile homeowners. They don't have a lot of extra money.
I think one of the interesting things that I thought about when giving this greater thought was that I would hope that if any one subset of the town were burdened in such a way, the rest of the town would say, you know what? That's not really what we had in mind.
Exactly.
We need to fix that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because ultimately that's what it boils down to. I think at the time, we had much less visibility financially as to the town finances.
Well, you also looked back at the time when these projects, and I keep going back to this because there's always, hindsight is always 20/20, but at the time when these projects took place, we had a commitment from the state, and that commitment was broken. And
Right.
I particularly in the Lockmere, and there's hope to get that maybe 15, 20 years, maybe, if that. But I mean, technically it wasn't broken, but their commitment for us to get that money is not there.
It's not really worth the paper it's written on.
No,
Right.
and so, yes, now the burden does fall on the people, and I don't think that hindsight, that was the intention, to raise their taxes by 53% for that project.
Right.
That's not what that's not what they proposed at all.
And I think had property owners had an understanding of what might happen,
Exactly.
how things could look, I think
They wouldn't
have
have.
very differently.
Yep, I think so
Or
too.
may have still wanted it, but with some modifications.
Correct.
And I think part of that is, I really do believe, there was a period of time where we just didn't have as much understanding, maybe limited to Alice, who was the town administrator at the time, but, a few people had good financial understanding of what was taking place in the town. But I think it wasn't widespread understood, and if you think about what was going on at the time too, the valuation crisis, if you will, the use of the fund balance, which the entire fund balance was used to the point where we had to have a warrant article to rebuild it. And now the town is in a much more advantageous financial position with a much, the largest fund balance that I'm aware that the town's ever had, and perhaps in a position to be able to fix this. I can tell you from the school side, Northfield and Samberton will be increasing this year. Tilton will be staying much the same depending upon how the warrant articles go.
Right.
So we're not going to see much of an increase, if any, in our school tax, whereas Northfield and Samberton will be seeing quite a bit. So it's an unusual year for that as well. It doesn't always happen that way. and that's the formula and average daily attendance.
So has anybody given any thought to using some of the fund balance, or no?
I don't really see, this is really, I don't know how you would do that, because this is really, it's an issue of revenues, because we already budget all the debt.
Right.
So those debt payments are budgeted, even if somebody zeroed out the debt line, there is an RSA that talks about, you still have to pay those obligations, even if somebody at town meeting stood up and said, I want to zero that line out. So by statute, the town is going to pay those debt obligations. The real issue comes in, are we collecting revenue from the property owners, and how much revenue are we collecting to pay that debt? That's really what it amounts to. There's $220,000 worth of payments, just shy of that, but roughly $220,000 worth of annual betterment payments between Andrews, Northern Shores, Laconia Road, and Lochner. And that's really what that warrant seeks to do, is to essentially recognize those revenues. Just by not showing that revenue and doing away with the revenue, then in effect our tax rate goes up because we have less revenue based on our expense. So in a case where I've presented the 16 cents as an alternative, the alternative there is not that the tax rate is going to increase by 16 cents. You're not going to see the benefit of 16 cents less in that next year, because that $80,000 that would have gone away would then be used to offset some of the betterment payments. That's really what I'm talking about, is not increasing the tax rate 16 cents, but not lowering it by 16 cents in a subsequent year.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So,
It's a contentious issue, that's for sure. There's no question about it. So, I mean, me personally, I haven't decided which way I want to go on this.
is this?
I mean, this is exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
This is exactly what I want, and I appreciate it, but it's kind of not what I wanted to see visually on it, that's all.
If you need it in a different format or need something else for town meeting, just let me know. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
I'm a Silver Lake Road betterment payer. I was in favor of the project. It was presented as one thing, and then we got another,
Right.
and big payments behind that because the state reneged on the financing part that they committed to. There's lots of examples of sharing of costs in this town, whether it's sidewalks I'll never walk on, or a school I'll never put another kid in, or a road that I'll help pay to pave that I really never drive down. But they need to be done, and we're a town. We enjoyed living here as a town, and if there's a shared cost, it should be a shared cost. But again, I understand how some places won't ever see a sewer. That I don't know.
Well, part of the thing that I run into now, I went to not necessarily a happy occasion, but a lot of people came over and stopped me on the way out or on the way in to talk about this particular warrant article. And the comments that I heard most were, when that was presented at town meeting, we were told it would never affect the town tax rate. That was number one. Number two was, wait a minute, I'll never see it. Are they going to also help me pay for my septic system when I have to put in new systems? That was number two. Why should I have to pay for my own system when I'm going to help them pay for theirs? That was, I'm just telling you all the comments that I heard.
Sure.
And it's like, how can they start out telling us it'll never affect our tax rate, and then they turn around and they change their minds? And, these are the kind of things that I listened to the other day. And so, and we talked about it, we talked about what's fair about it, and, what wasn't fair about it in their minds, and, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I'm in 100% agreement with it right now, but I also understand very much that if I lived over in Lockmere, or if that kind of a burden were put on me, yes, I would think that it would be very difficult. So, trying to come up with some kind of a happy medium that can reduce the debt load, without bankrupting some of the people that live over there, I mean, that's important too. So, but yet I don't know what the final answer is going to be. I mean, I think it's going to end up being ultimately whatever the voters decide. I am not pushing that they shouldn't, support it, nor am I pushing that they shouldn't. So shouldn't or should I think I said the same thing twice. But, I mean, all I really wanted, and I agree with what Joe had originally said, that this is a petitioned warrant article. It's by the people, and it's for the people to make a decision on. When people ask me, I can honestly say that we talk about every aspect of it. And that's all I can do. I don't want to say you should do it or you shouldn't do it. They all have to make up their own mind.
My answer has been vote your conscience.
Yeah.
Vote your good conscience,
Right.
whatever side that happens to fall on.
I have one question before you get your,
And I have one comment.
go ahead.
The comment is that while the state grant has not come through for us, the
Right.
sewer commission has contributed each year.
Oh, I know they have.
So they've tried to help out.
Right.
Where does that money come from?
That comes from our reserve account.
Yeah.
And I can't, the commissioners have been, behind putting that $3,000 in per year, because they do not want that burden to fall on the Lockmere project residents. But there's nothing saying that they have to, and there's no guarantee that financially we can do that.
It's unsustainable through 2036 or something. You don't have that kind of reserve, I wouldn't think. So, that's a short-term stopgap measure. And that money was collected through sewer fees to begin with, wasn't it?
Correct.
So the people who get sewer bills have already paid that money in. I don't know, it's a hard one. It really is a hard one, and it would save me money if it passed, but I'm not even sure that I'm in favor of it in the big picture.
Well, I
I
guess
don't know.
another comment that I had, and maybe you can answer this, is there some kind of a long-term plan to put the whole town on sewer eventually?
I think ultimately that would be great, but to say that there is a long-term plan right now, I would say there's not.
Okay.
Some of the areas are so rural and unpopulated that it wouldn't be cost-effective. Will that change in the future? I mean, if we had enough money, absolutely, we'd love to, I know that our next goal would be to tie in West Main Street, that area down there, the high school down by Plaza.
And now you've tried to do that a couple of times and couldn't get the support from the people, correct?
What they did was they polled the area residents, and it was a very close vote, so they decided to push it off. They've done some preliminary engineering. Some of the property owners have changed their stance. But the commission could choose to put it in, whether the residents want to or not. We have the ability to say, listen, health issues or whatever else, we're going forward through this.
Right.
But the commissioners don't want to do that unless they have the support of the residents. It's my belief that that will be the next area that's tied in.
Now, sewer projects just keep getting more and more expensive. I can tell from this handout that you've given, the Konya Road, 201 properties for $465,000. And Lockmere project is now $2,500,000, not 5 years later.
Well, there are different variables in that. In
The pump stations and, yeah.
There's 2 pump stations. The Lochner project, there's 4. So it's very hard to compare apples to
Yeah,
apples.
I see.
Absolutely, every year costs, yeah, absolutely.
Even if you, I mean, just to bring an excavator in this year to dig 100 feet of trench, next year it's gonna be that much higher.
Right.
Well, also keep in mind, this is just the debt you're looking at. With the Lochner project, there was some $2 million in grants from the federal government. So when you look at total project cost, the project was big.
Right.
You know, so this is just debt we're talking about here.
Okay, move on from sewer. Anybody more questions for, I'm going to put you
Thank
on,
you, Joanne.
I'm putting you on the spot, on camera, sorry.
You're not sorry.
The Budget Committee for the school
Oh, yes,
voted $10,000 less on the SRO.
yeah.
Do you want to give us more input into that?
Yeah, I was actually very disappointed that that occurred because I wasn't there when the vote was taken. I was here presenting to you that evening, and we met Tuesdays and Thursday evenings. So there had been much discussion about the SRO. Prior to that, the administration, when the SAU came in, high school and middle school discussions talked about the importance and need for the SRO. The consensus ranged from why do we even need this, the discussion ranged from why do we even need this function in the school? Why should any school have to have a police officer there? Do we have problems beyond, any normal school? Which the answer was no. Times have changed, and that was discussed.
The answer was no?
That we're not any different from any other school.
Oh, okay.
That you go to any similar campus environment like this, and you're going to find an SRO.
Okay.
How they're paid for differs by town,
Right.
district, and so on. The next item that I spent a lot of time talking to the Budget Committee about was how the town of Tilton has subsidized this position in years past. And that the realignment of this for the budget year, which the school is looking at, which is not 2012, but 12-13, finally aligns the contract to say that if this person is there X percent of time, the town of Tilton is being compensated for that percent of time that the person is assigned to the school, which would seem to most people to be very fair. The Northfield and Sandmerton committee members especially felt that the town of Tilton police are paid a premium over what their officers are paid, which may or may not be true, I don't really know. There was a discussion about what was in the price. The cruiser was discussed to some degree. Why would we charge for a cruiser? All these things were gone through. I had talked to the chief prior to one of the discussions and went through with them how there's a certification process with becoming an SRO that this rotates from year to year. Went through all this, but essentially, and this was someone from Northfield felt that it was just too much money. That we just couldn't go from 0 to 60 in 1 year. And so it doesn't impact the town of Tilton any, because
Right.
we're going to bill the school district, the same amount that we expected to bill from the contract, and the school district knows that they're going to pay the amount that we bill. And they're just going to have to find the $10,000 to make up what the Budget Committee cut elsewhere within the budget. So I felt it was particularly unfortunate that I wasn't there the night that they voted on it, because I would have had a lot more to say about it. Because I think it really sends a mixed message.
And they've already had their public hearing.
The public hearing's already been had, and
I was there.
I
Did you say anything
Oh, yes.
on the SRO?
Oh, yes.
and it's been discussed at length. at prior meetings, at budget meetings.
I assured them that...
And it was unanimous, or,
Oh, no.
Oh,
Well,
heavens
I
no.
mean, I...
well, not unanimous without you?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at the vote. There's one person in particular who felt very, very strongly about it.
Yep.
He made the statement, or I should say, one of the individuals made a statement, because I don't know if we're talking about the same guy, who made a statement at the public hearing that basically they voted $10,000 less because they had no input into
On who it was.
who the officer was going to be. And I immediately stated something to the effect that the most highly qualified individual in the police department at that time is the one that got. We didn't haphazardly
Correct.
send people to the high school just to get money from the high school. We've been subsidizing this position, and that the position amount as stated in the budget truly only reflected the salary benefits such as health insurance and contributions to the guy says something about, they make too much money in Tilton. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't think that money on that line item is only what the guy makes in salary. How much do they think that police officers make? I mean, half of what they make is non-money in their paycheck, between the retirement and the health benefits and all of the rest of the things that go with that. I mean, I was shocked when I found that out, but it's true.
Part of the, and I had spoken an awful lot about this in prior meetings, so I didn't say a lot at the public hearing, other than to remind them that the town of Tilton has the liability for that officer, which the chief and I had discussed. You want to have somebody that is not right out of, the academy,
Right.
in a situation like that where they're dealing with, very sensitive young lives.
Right.
And oftentimes emotional, very
Right.
emotional situations. So,
Exactly.
in any event, this was
It's not up to them to choose which one it
This was
is.
somewhat of a lost cause in that the towns of Northfield and Sandmerton are facing significant increases this year through the school budget. And at the same time, even though it's going up for the school district, it is a minuscule amount in terms of the actual total dollars being spent. The issue that the school district has had to deal with in the budget committee was that there's a lack of revenues because of shifts in the state and because of the ARA funds that were in place. There was I can't recall what the program was, but there was a piece of revenue that they lost, as all districts lost, through ARA, the American Reinvestment Recovery Act. There was that, plus also shifting of how school tuition works with the state and some other things. So this was really absorbing a huge revenue loss for the school district, and the other two towns having to pick up 60-plus cents each in tax rate. And depending upon how the warrant articles come out, that's before the warrant articles. So they're looking at significant, increases, and I think this was what was driving, anything that was different from last year received great scrutiny, and the SRO just happened to be one of them. And not only did it happen to change the percentage, but also the rate changed considerably between Officer Penault and Officer Patton. So you kind of had a double whammy at the same time, which just made the numbers look much. So the district certainly has it as an obligation. They'll pay it when we bill them.
The budget committee...
Well, they don't
understood
have
that.
it, that's not an accurate statement. If they want the SRO as per the contract,
That's correct.
then it's an obligation. But they do also have the option of eliminating some of the services of the contract, or perhaps maybe changing the SRO hours, or eliminating the vehicle being there at the...
That is
There's options.
I have talked to several of the school board members about this, and they've all indicated that they proceed just, business as usual. So, granted, that's not a guarantee, but I'm not concerned about it.
Okay, all right, Thank you. You're off.
All right.
Thanks.
Back to the
Appreciate it.
payables. So I guess
Thank you.
payables will be available tomorrow.
All right. We'll be around. If anybody's around tomorrow, come in for the payables. Joyce, you're up.
The impression I got from talking to the Budget Committee is this gave them the opportunity to cut costs, and every single one of them understood that the money was going to be paid anyway. But they had a $450,000 surplus last year, and they knew that the money was in the budget, but this gave them this, oh yeah, we cut the money.
And because of the way that they dispersed that back to the towns, Tilton didn't get what we put in.
Right.
Because of the way it got dispersed back. Again, we lost.
But it also
Before
didn't,
you start.
it also didn't mean anything to anyone. They didn't care when we were paying them.
They didn't care it. They didn't really care.
Well, this time the extra money was put into funds. They're not going to return it to the town.
Right. I have two disposition of abatement applications, and I signed one, and then I started to sign the other, but the assessor has not signed these.
No, but I conferred with her and I attached her emails.
They're still not signed by her. I'm not sure that,
Okay, well then we can wait until next week when she's here. Cindy was the one that was...
are they, well, that's my question. Are they
These are
something,
from Cindy.
are they something that absolutely have to be done that we need to have?
No, we can wait and Lauren can sign them.
I don't think I'll sign it if she does.
Is there an email in there from her saying that she is going to sign them?
No, we can hold them off and have her sign them.
Sorry, we
This
can
was-
sign them next week.
This was when Cindy had done the Jeopardy tax warrant. She did a separate Jeopardy tax warrant. She didn't have to do that. She could have just accepted the payment on the regular tax bill. There were
Right.
two properties that she did this to. We've already abated one. And now we're doing the other one. That's what that one was. And then this one is New Hampshire DES. Lauren says that her guess was it was previously assessed and taxed. They gave up the lease. The lessor was probably long gone, and if the state wasn't timely notified, which they probably weren't, the state's not going to pay it. The state said they're not going to pay it. So the only way to get off the books is to abate it. But we can hold off those.
Just like we're not gonna pay any of these
The
darn
state
fees to
said
get
that
the
they're not going to
property.
pay it?
They're exempt. They're tax exempt.
Oh,
And we're not paying any fees to the state to get a vest pocket.
right, because we're exempt. Okay, that's answered. I think we should hold them, and she's got the file right there. All of that is all signed, so I didn't want you to, you've signed everything else
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, yeah, we'll just
Yeah,
stick it.
there'll be another one that I did hold for Lauren to sign. It's a situation, these are all coming to light because Cindy had sent out her delinquency notices because she's getting ready to go to tax lien. So these are the ones that come to the surface that need to be cleared up. But another one is, if you recall back in the winter of 2010, in the Windy Hill Mobile Home Co-op, a trailer had burned. So it was removed from the taxes, but there were still some sheds on the property.
Right.
And the town was never notified by anybody that the individual was not going to be replacing anything on that site. The person moved to Campton. And it was only because I was able to track down Cindy showed me all the return notices she had gotten. And so I was able to get in touch with their board member, and he said, oh yeah, she, a few months after the fire, she noticed that she wasn't going to be replacing it, and she's gone.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing there.
Right.
So that one I want Lauren to do because that has to do with assessed value.
Yes.
These are just, tax exempt, we're not going to get the money, and the other
Right.
was an error on Cindy's part. So
Okay.
that one I did set aside. Okay, on April 4th, this is the annual benefit administrators workshop for LGC that Catherine and I signed up for. It's from 8:30 to 1.
April 4th, so we need someone in the office.
That would be helpful.
April 4th. Oh, it's a Wednesday.
That's 8:30 to 1?
No, three chairs,
Pardon me?
8:30 to 3.
So it's all day?
Yeah, but we were going to stay for the whole day, were we?
I can do the morning. That's a Wednesday.
We'll make arrangements and we'll have somebody here.
I probably won't stay the whole day, I'll just take my car.
We'll have coverage. I'll be here all morning anyway.
Yeah, and I can come in.
I had gotten this last week and sent it to Sandy. There's some New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority planning grant money that's available. Did you get a chance to look
Yes,
at
I
that?
did look it over, and,
Is that something you want to talk about the planning board? or do we
well,
just-
I was gonna sit down with Gus and talk to her about it, and probably with Jane. I'm not really sure, it depends on the direction that the planning board wants to go. It's something that's available. I mean, up till now, they haven't really gone in those directions, but not that they wouldn't. So I did want to sit down with them and talk to the whole board about it. So I was going to take it with maybe the next meeting.
The applications will be available on April 15th
Okay?
for the first round, and they'll be due June 15th, so we have some time.
Okay. I'll bring it up at this next coming planning board meeting, so we can all talk about it.
I just received this yesterday from Eliza. I forwarded it to the board. This is the Lakes Region Planning Commission's bicycling and walking plan for the New Hampshire Lakes Region. I haven't read it yet, but I did email it to all of you.
Okay.
If you want to read that. This is my regular monthly update on legal matters. So if you just want to look at this and just pass it around.
Okay.
Nothing needs a decision.
All
And I
right.
didn't put it in the envelope, but it's all confidential.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I can. This is a revised auction sale terms and conditions. And in this, we added that the property tax, the 2012 property taxes are a condition of the sale, and that will be in the purchase and sale agreement.
Did read this.
Since this is being sold after April 1st, and I was supposed to be getting a written opinion from Christine Fillmore at the Local Government Center, but I haven't received it as of yet, but she said you can put whatever you want in your purchase and sale agreement.
Okay.
And I left a message with Scott, because the next thing we have to do is get a draft of the purchase and sale agreement for the board to approve.
Where's the taxes and the property?
Under auctioneer's notes, it is number 3.
Okay, 2012 taxes, I got it. Just, okay.
That's good. So now we're covered.
So I'm going to go ahead and send out the notice to the former owner and the lien holders, and I was going to print out a list of the abutters to the property, just to give it to Greg so he can cross-check to make sure they didn't let anyone out.
Right.
He's going to be working on the ads next week, and he's continuing to get a lot of interest in the property.
Good.
And you'll have an opportunity to review those ads and go over the list again of where you want them to be
Okay.
posted.
They've got one sign up down there at the Fluffies. Great big one.
And then we talked about the town report already. And the legal things going around. That's really all I have.
So we need to know what and when people are working on it over the weekend so that we can come in.
Right.
Are we going to have some type of, we're coming in tomorrow, are we? And work on it?
Yeah, what I envision is we'll get it assembled you guys look at it, and then the time-consuming thing is just, getting a batch printed up. So if we can focus on getting them printed tomorrow, and
then cutting them.
doing the cutting thing.
Right.
Maybe we can come in an hour or two.
Well, I can come in tomorrow. I haven't put anything on my
I can
schedule
come,
for tomorrow. Come in, I don't know that I can stay all day, but I can certainly come in for 3 or 4 hours and work on it.
Yeah, I have some family commitments this weekend, but if I can scoop away, if anything, just to keep the copies printing.
Yeah, because that's really the time-consuming part. Once the copies are printed, putting the booklets together is not that time-consuming. It's waiting for them to finish printing.
Because I can remember coming in, stopping in, running a bunch of covers, because you
Right.
don't want to run too many at a time, because it
Right.
eats up. And
Question, while we're talking about that. Did we ever get any photos of Vicki? Okay, good.
Catherine Dawson took care of that, and I
Wonderful.
scanned them. There
Okay.
were 3 of them. We picked the one that we liked the best.
Okay, oh, that's fine, just
But they're
so,
all there if you want to look at them.
just so that we got something, that's really all I was concerned about.
And I'm going to have to be leaving at 3. My vehicle's not working. I managed to get a ride at 3 and then get another vehicle, so I'll be back.
I have a question on this, the litigation one, the second one listed here. That house that burnt last week was his house? It's like, okay.
There's other, if you look at the writ of summons, there's
Yeah,
others listed
there's
there.
Right.
And then we also just heard about another one.
Governor's Island.
I didn't realize that was his house.
Yeah. So he's got others, so.
And his son called yesterday. In fact, he's supposed to be in this afternoon, but I haven't heard anything. Very, very upset. And wants copies of everything. And I said, well, so the best time to come in would be in the afternoon, and you can look through the property record card file and, let us know what you want copies of. It's $1 a page, and we'll make copies for you. And he wanted copies of all the tax bills. And I said, going back to whenever they purchased it, and I said, well, I suggest you put that request in writing and you give it to the tax collector, and she can let you know if they are available, going back to whatever dates that he wants, and when they would be ready, and it would be $1 a page. In fact, this is Melissa's request.
I understand that he came in the other day and dropped that off. Okay. But that's not really a request. It should be more explicit than that.
Right, that's why I called him.
We can't accept this as a request for under 91A. You have to say, per 91A, I request all, whatever. This is just a note.
That's why I'm not pulling anything together. He's welcome to come in as anyone and look at the property record card file.
I would suggest that they look up under 91A also that, this is on the back of an advertisement. I think, we need to know a little bit more information on that. Okay.
And I did go ahead and release the payment on that, because that is the final report in that last collection that we made.
I don't particularly care for the front page and where it says the intent of the building is to be used as a police safety building.
That's been in the original drafts that came to the board.
I don't care where it is. That's not the intent now, is it? And it wasn't the intent when we hired him 2 months ago, was it?
Right, but it was in all the documents that you received,
It doesn't,
reviewed.
it doesn't, when we hired him 2 months ago,
I know.
it was not the intent. We shouldn't be writing this in the intent that that's what the building is used for. That originally, the building, it says is to be used, could be, was to be used, I could understand that. It's is to be used. You know, that could open up a whole different set of
Yeah.
can of worms there. It infers that we've given them information that says we've have an intent to, and we don't. It's first thing from our minds.
Right. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been good. Just the intent of the building was to be used as a police station.
Right,
Police safety building.
right,
The building is currently being used for storage of votes by local mayors.
correct.
Right.
That's the issue I have with that.
You know, I guess a lot would depend on,
Well, we have no control what other people write, so,
I know.
particularly people that we pay.
Right, but you had the drafts, and what came out of the drafts that was incorrect, that we sent back to him, was that he had the wrong name for the health agency, and he had Catherine Dawson's name spelled wrong. Those are the two corrections that the board told me to send to him to correct.
Oh, I just have to look at the draft.
Oh,
Those are the
I was very surprised we didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, me too.
It was a bad day in Selectmanville, wasn't it?
at James Selectmen, sorry.
Yeah.
So anything else?
Those are all signed there, except for what was underneath.
So these need to go on Lauren's folder for next week.
Okay, we still have on your agenda this with Lauren. Will we do any more research on this?
No, nothing more. We haven't sent this letter.
I know, but are we doing any more research on it to find out yay or nay, or?
I haven't done any. I thought that's what you, or Kathleen was working on.
Not me, I believe. I don't know if she was.
I thought a right-to-know request was made to them from the board, or from...
That's on a different matter. Wasn't on regarding that.
Oh, yeah.
That was on something different. That was on something entirely different.
I mean, I'd be happy to do...
I have no idea where to go with that. It's still, I would still mark it on our agenda as needing to be done.
Yeah. I agree. It's not something that's going to be that easy.
Nope. Are you still working on the insurances for the USDA?
Yep.
And claim for the insurance for the Grange, okay?
And the the 61, we don't have anything coming on that. This is yours. Okay, then
Are we all set with town meeting? Are we all set for
yes.
March 13th and March
Spoke to
17th?
Dennis, he's all set with the dates and money and times he has to move things. The only thing I'm still not clear on, did you ever get in touch with the audio-visual people? Okay. We have the insurance certificate, and I've spoken to Chuck. We still haven't found his chair, have we?
What?
The chair was found.
The chair was
The
found.
chair was found. I heard him say something about the chair, so the chair was found.
So, we're all set. And the supervisors, the checklist, they're all set. They're moved back downstairs. They're very happy. And I,
We did move them back downstairs?
he wanted to be moved. He didn't want to be moved up here to begin with. So,
When did that take place?
that's Friday? Yeah.
Which decision was that?
Pretty much the same one that made the decision to bring him up here.
Seriously?
And of course, I said that yes, if he doesn't want to be up here, then don't leave him up here.
But we have him, he brings me his schedule for the meetings.
Right.
I put it on the calendar. There's only one conflict for one night,
Yeah.
September 4th. I emailed Barb Hardy. Barb Hardy emailed me back, and the commission will meet upstairs.
Because their primary thing was the fact that they don't want to be upstairs because people won't be able to find them.
And they're so accustomed to coming
Right.
downstairs.
I understand that, but I just, when you make a decision and the board is informed that a decision was made, and then you come to a meeting and another decision was made to
Undo.
change it back and
Right.
undo that.
Well, it
We're
was-
the Board of Selectmen. It should come to the Board of Selectmen and then make that decision and go down.
Every time people that the individuals that were involved in that, they didn't follow the selectmen's policy.
Right.
Oh, that's my point. None of that was a hint to following any of what is in the Selectmen's purview for.
Right.
We work as a team here, not as individuals. When a decision has to be made, it should be made with all of us, not as individuals.
Well, sometimes people forget.
Well, you know what? There's been a couple of times when they've needed a decision very quickly, and I've come in the door, and under those circumstances, I understand how that happens, but something like that on a move, it should come to the board and say, listen, this is what we want to do.
Well, in this particular case, too, they should have gone to the supervisors of the checklist first and made sure they were okay with it, but they didn't.
I didn't know they were coming, didn't know they were leaving, hardly knew they were here.
There was a few conflicts when they were downstairs
I know.
with meetings, and
Yep.
therefore,
Right,
the
there's a
decision...
procedure in place
Right.
now that
Yes.
Right, so now that's all set,
Good.
everything's gonna, there's double checks on that so that we don't have conflicts with that's gonna happen.
seamless correcting. So.
Yep.
And I did keep the town hall liaison in because there was a lot of liaison going on. Everybody's happy now. We're happy.
You think? Okay, good.
Okay, I have one other question regarding the Grange. If I have something to be picked up that we don't put out for trash, that they don't pick up, I should say, that we put out for trash and they don't pick up, do I go through you to have Dennis pick it up?
Is it something that was they forgot to pick it up, or it was something that wouldn't be picked up because it wasn't acceptable?
Well, we have, when they did the floor, we have 3 bags of the sanding process that they emptied into bags.
That should go into that would be taken by the regular trash pickup, so we need to notify the hauler that that's a stop.
Is it because it's not being picked up because they don't recognize it as a stop, do you
Right.
think, or a business, or?
Right. They
It
have
should,
to-
because we're the town, correct?
Yeah, but they don't know that it's a building that's being used now, so we just have to notify the hauler.
That it's,
Yeah.
so
Now-
as long as we put it out there on Tuesdays, I understand is when it's pickup. Because I went there Tuesday, and the garbage hadn't been picked up, so I put them out there
Yeah,
at the curb.
and they still didn't pick them up?
They didn't pick them up. So I put them back over by the stairs.
Yeah.
They're still there, so that we have 3 bags of that.
Okay. I can ask Dennis and you can go pick it up, because tomorrow they can get rid of it down there.
To answer your question, too, I did a little research, and according to the job description, we all, whoever it would be, should call her and she'll call Dennis. According to his job description, he is available as far as work that needs to be done for the town hall, but everything goes to the town administrator. That way, he's not being sent off in 15 different directions. So, I would say if you need him to pick up stuff, you let Joyce know and she'll let him know.
Well, that's okay, but if Joyce is not around, then who do we do?
Well, you leave a message for Joyce on her machine and she'll take care of it
Well-
when she's there.
No, it's...
If you're not around, the last couple of weeks, we've been working at the Grange, for instance, and if you've taken a day off, and I get a phone call and say, hey, they've done this work and we need to have it picked up, who do you call?
Go ahead and call this.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that, but I guess it is an issue, so.
Well, it is as far as what I'm getting back as far as the feedback from Dennis and his guys. It's a big issue. And they're getting really tired of being told to do this and do that, and it's not coming from Joyce, and they're not really thrilled with it. And I can appreciate that, because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing.
Especially if that's his job description, it should come from the one person that's listed.
And if Joyce is going to be gone on vacation or something, then I would say to Joyce, well, then why don't you call Dennis and say this person has been appointed to take care of letting you know if something's coming up.
Well, after you open, though, the only thing that will just be the regular curbside collection. So that will be picked up. So this is like contractor stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like, we moved a lot of stuff up here. I understand that there was an issue once it got here, but...
Yes, it was.
That's fine.
But once, everything's moved around up there, so it was things that, like the cabinets, the boxes that the cabinets would come in, they were really nice and come up and took everything. That wasn't an issue with that at all. Everything else, I try to drop it off when I can. If it fits in my vehicle, I try to drop it off.
The other thing is, maybe we can make arrangements with Dennis that if Joyce is not around, that the chairman of the board would be the one that would be letting him know if something...
That would be the logical next step,
That would be
I
the
would
logical
think.
next step. If she's
I
not
think that,
here, then you would be
I think that
handling.
the next logical step would be Catherine, because it wouldn't be, I think that would be the next logical step, because that's in town hall.
Right.
That if you have other boards and committees and commissions that are going directly to Dennis instead of coming to you, and if you're not here, then have someone here at town hall that they're directed to.
Well, then we'll make it...
Not just, not just me. I have the chat, I have the senior committee up there, yes, I do. I wanted to know for my own procedure so that I'm not...
All right, well then, see, because there's two different things. Our policy, our written policy now is just for town hall.
Right. But his job description, it goes in...
Includes the other,
Well,
the
it
Parks
just says
Commission and whatever.
all committees, it's primarily that he is available for municipal, helping out,
Yes, right, he is.
but that everything has to go through, is channeled through the town administrator, and she will contact the public works,
Okay, well,
or the town
Parks doesn't
administrator.
operate that way.
Well, I know they don't, but that's, we've got to get back to that, or we'll end up like we were before, where Dennis and his guys are running every which direction in town, and they're not getting their own work done.
At the time with the tree, I had no idea that he was going off to get a tree.
Right.
Or his guys were doing that, and that they had to do it by a certain time that morning.
Right.
I had no idea. It's like, oh, that's news to me.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever the policy is, we should adhere to it.
All right, so
Right.
the Grange, all right, well, for now, the immediate thing is for the material they have there now, number one is I have to call the hall and let them know that's a regular stop.
Right.
Give them the address. And then for the things that you have there now, I mean, if it's just shavings.
There's 3 bags, right? Oh, it can wait. That's not a big
I mean, no
deal.
one's going to get into it.
No, it's just when they sanded the floor like they did here.
Yeah.
It's 3 bags. I can't lift them high enough to get into my vehicle, or I would have done that. They're heavy. They're 3 bags, but I managed to get them out because I used the dolly. I got them out to the side of the road, but they didn't pick them up.
Well, if they're too heavy, they may not take them either.
I can't pick them with my fingers. They might not be too heavy for someone else. I can't grab the bag
Well,
with
I
my
can-
fingers.
I can go down and get them.
I'll be
won't
more
do
than
it
happy
today,
to.
but throw 'em in the
Tom
back of
couldn't help
Joe's.
me. Between the two of us,
Yeah.
between Tom and I, bad fingers is just like useless.
So maybe you and I can talk with the chairman of the Parks Commission to make them aware of what the...
Yeah, they need to call you and they need the Public Works to do something.
Well, after town meeting too, whomever the liaison is too, we need to do
Yeah.
that as well.
So at this point, really, we can wait until we're through town meeting and see who's going to carry on as the
Right.
Parks Commission.
Or any of the boards and commissions for that matter.
Right. Yeah, all of them.
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
It may just be that we need to, just put out another little memo reminding all the boards we can wait until after town meeting, that if you're needing the services, you need to go through the town administrator.
Right. Okay, great. Norm, you got anything for us?
I don't have anything in terms of a report, but I'm just looking through the FYI file here. And one of them was your email regarding a particular individual serving on the budget committee.
Yes.
I suggest that you go with trying to get him written in as opposed to appointment, because the budget committee under the RSAs can appoint their own people.
Right.
Right, we would have
There are
to
two,
recommend.
there are two people right now that have come to the board and offered after the date of sign-in. One is Eric Pyra for Budget Committee. So if anybody's listening out there, they can certainly write their name in if they choose to. And the other is Town Moderator, and that Tom Gallant has expressed an interest in that for a town moderator, correct. So there's two,
Trustee of the trust fund.
and Lynn Fox for the trustee of the trust fund. So if there's anybody else out there that wants to come forward and fill one of the positions that are not being filled at the current year, for the current year, we'll more than happy to announce that as well.
The other thing is, regretfully, apparently we're losing a good member of the ZBA who's been on it for a long time.
Correct.
It's understandable. I may be interested in filling that position myself.
Well, I was going to say, I think the town should plan on doing something for this individual as well.
Oh, yes.
He spent years and years and years in
Right.
government, so...
And for me, it'd be just going back to the ZBA, which is where I was before I was elected selectman.
We can tell.
And keeping you involved in town business, I think, is a good thing for the town.
It's no more than once.
Should we do something at town meeting?
I think we
I
should
certainly think that we should thank him for
have
his
a plaque
service.
made up or something.
Yeah.
Catherine, can you see to it that
You know who we're talking about, right?
the family sees to it that perhaps maybe he's there?
Well, it would be his last, no, he doesn't necessarily have to go to that, does he?
Yeah, but he's the kind of person that he
Who would?
cares enough
Yeah.
about his town to,
Right.
he would show up. And it's not, for him, it's just,
Well, health,
Just a little insurance, if they can get him there, that would be good.
right, the issue is
if
health.
not, then maybe his wife could go and accept
Right.
it in his behalf.
So if we can, where did Joyce go?
The whole
right.
switch the
Okay.
car over or whatever.
A plaque. Okay.
How many years, do we know exactly how many years?
We can research the amount of years.
Yeah.
It's got to be in the double, yeah, decades.
Madam Chairman, do you think you have to be
Probably not. I don't think so.
No?
We're taking her home, too. Okay, thank you for reminding us of that. So, Catherine, you're going to follow up on that, right? Okay, great. Joe?
I don't have any report per se. We've already talked about the school budget. We did do a mapping thing with Dave from UNH yesterday. Preliminary tax map and plotting sewer lines, water lines, the software involved for generating our own maps and being able to add stuff in and become part of a bigger database. We're just at the beginning of that. But firstly, I will, right after town meeting, and probably right after town meeting, I'll be leaving town. And the timing is totally coincidental. My half-brother George is having a brain operation on the 14th in Atlanta.
Wow.
And I'm going to be helping him with his convalescence, and he'll be coming home on the 20th. So it takes, I drive to Maryland, I drive to Augusta, where he lives, and just coincidentally for you, Chuck Mitchell, I've got tickets to the Masters. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Seeing as I'll be in town anyway. I also understand that there was a robbery at the Big Apple.
Yes.
Any news?
Got them the same night.
Outstanding. All I read was there was a robbery, and I didn't read anything more than
Got
that.
them the same night.
Got them that night, yeah, within 4 minutes.
How
Another
desperate
job
do
well done.
Another job well done. How desperate do people have to be to risk years in prison to rob the Big Apple?
$800?
Yeah, the log.
For $800.
They came in at 8:34, and by 8:38, they said something. That quick.
Gosh, you didn't even get to spend it. Well, there you go. Crime does not pay.
Yeah, we'll get to spend time.
I've got a question regarding a police department timesheet. This is the only one that is not, I mean, does that mean anything, or is that just that he pages stuff together? I'm the one who circled it, so. Maybe just flipped over and they flipped together, I don't know.
How are your shots coming?
I just wasn't.
Good, I get very tired if I'm exerting myself too much. Now, and my sister just had to move, so it's like, don't look at me, I'm not lugging anything. I will drive the truck, but I'm not lugging anything.
And
Got that all?
that's all I've got for right here and right now, absolutely.
Okay. I have a tentative target date of May 9th for the big grand opening for the Tilton Senior Center. I know that we have April 18th as a spaghetti dinner fundraiser
I'll
at
be
the
back for
Lockmere.
that.
You're
Great.
gonna have it on site, or are you gonna?
No, at the Lockmere.
Country Club again?
Right. Right now, we were ready to go ahead and move in and everything, but a few people have collectively come forth, and the yellow and red is now going to be blue and white on the main hall walls, and our hardwood floor now looks like this hardwood floor.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Oh,
Absolutely.
outstanding.
And so, the only other thing this I did, it's just a draft because I'm going to replace it. If you and Norm can just push that button down there. Kind of an old and new Chief, if you want to see that, you can, because that kind of gets to you what you,
So it won't be that color anymore.
no.
No, it'd be like,
And I'll replace those pictures with the blue and white so that you can actually see. Those will be the old. And,
Oh, man,
Wow.
look
the
at
floors
that.
look credible.
Oh, yeah, we can play basketball again. We can have a dance. Yeah, that's got to be a before picture, right?
there's
That's
quite,
the kid, that was
Little
the
different,
kitchen. That was the back kitchen door.
Oh my god.
And that's leading out into the front,
yeah,
going out that way.
yeah, that's the wall. Now that's going out the same way, no, it's this way. Yeah,
See the,
and now that's the same
Yeah.
view.
Same view.
And that's the corner going out into the main hall. It's the old wiring. That's the corner behind the stage. That's behind the stage now.
oh, nice, fridge.
Yeah.
That's a freezer
Yeah,
down below?
that's the ceiling in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's the ceiling in the kitchen now. That's the back wall where the stove is in the corner, with the sink. So now that's the sink.
There is the sink.
That's the back wall with the both windows. Now we have both windows replaced.
And there's going to be a hanging rack right
Oh, yeah.
there. They have that if it's not
Yep.
installed already.
The old bathroom. Bathrooms. That's the entrance to the old bathrooms. That's the unisex bathroom. That's part of the ADA. That's the other part of the ADA.
We're gonna play this at town meeting.
If Chuck lets us, I guess. Tom wants to. I just kind of put it together for him for,
Maybe on a table.
that's the old, what we're going to use now as an office. And the bathrooms are off to this side. That's what used to be. Now that's what's there now.
Kitchen's over there.
And that's the
No,
hallway.
that building doesn't look that big from the
I know.
outside.
It looks a lot bigger in these pictures.
Before and after. That's where we're going to put the computers. This is a new window, new door, replicated. Now the back door.
Oh, big difference coming up here.
There you go. So
Outstanding, huh?
now you can just shut it off. So that's all I have, and I know Catherine has been working on talking with Mark Morrow and Bill Lambert, and next week when she's here, she'll fill you in on what we have with Main Street. Sandy?
The only thing I wanted to, of course, Joe mentioned that we had our meeting yesterday. These maps are going to be phenomenal. If you can imagine a map that you can click any button and it'll bring up utilities, it'll bring up lot lines, it'll bring up the position of the building on the lots. Click another one and it'll bring up an infrared of all the wetlands in the community.
And you can
I-
click another button and the thing drops down and tells you who owns it and how big the
owns
lot
it
is and
yeah,
how many
what the
bedrooms.
taxes are and the
Oh, yeah, this
assessment.
thing tells everything.
How long does it take to get all of this?
It's already done,
It's already
for the
done.
most part.
Yes, he's sending, he'll be, probably Joyce and Gus will be trained, because Gus is the one that makes a lot of the changes and enters subdivisions and stuff like that. But anyway, it's just going to be a phenomenal service. I mean, it's going to take and bring Tilton up to the modern ages as far as our maps and everything.
Above and beyond, and it doesn't cost the town of Tilton anything specifically. It's being
Right.
done by UNH doctoral student and a number of interns from graduate students within the college, and they're using this
Right.
to further their education. And so they've chosen, what did you say, 5 towns, 7 towns?
Yes.
In the state, and provided this.
Yes.
And we got to see, I mean, it looks like a satellite map.
Right.
With trees and whatever, and you can press a button like she says, and then the infrared comes on, you can see
Yeah.
where the wetlands are, and where are the roads. It's really nice.
Yeah. And also, I guess The only suggestion that I made, there were a few suggestions made, and, I brought up the fact because it's always been an issue, is on the property cards, with being able to see where the sewer lines and the water lines, you'll know which properties are connected. Right now, our assessment cards do not tell you if a property is on sewer or water. You have to, most of the time, you can say, well, it's in the village residential, so it is connected. But there are still properties out there that could be, but you're not sure. You have to call either the water company or the sewer company and say, is so-and-so hooked up to town sewer? But this way, you'll see all this.
Right.
And right where the lines are.
Yes.
Because they plot the lines over the picture, so...
That's nice.
Right.
Oh, God, yeah, you
That's
can
nice.
tell. Which one's the water? Which one's the
It also
sewer?
helps, I mean, if you're just planning to dig on your own property,
Right, you
you don't
can bring
really
up
want to
where-
have to call DigSafe, if you have a pretty good idea.
Well, these
where
maps
your
are
pipes
only accurate to within 3 feet.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
So, that'll give you a ballpark, but that won't...
minus whether
3 feet can be a lot of distance when you dig it up a water line.
I was going to say, when the water comes spewing, I said, oh, I should have gone 3 feet the other way.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's going to be a phenomenal service for the townspeople and the people who live in the town. It's really going to take a lot of guesswork and research out of the question. They'll just be able to click buttons and bring this information
I
up.
guess there is a charge for maintenance on the server?
There's going to be a little charge, but most of what happens will be on us to make sure that it continues to be updated.
Yeah.
It'll be given to us updated, but it'll be our responsibilities to make sure that it stays updated. So any new subdivisions, if things are relocated on properties, whatever might change, they'd be entered in either by Gus or by Lauren.
Oh, not only that, but we don't have to worry about having access to this, because once we have it, we've got it.
Right.
Nobody can say, oh, no, that's proprietary information. If we go and get a load of this, the people who do this service for our towns, Northfield is having it done, apparently. Franklin is having it done.
Right.
Are spending upwards of $100,000 to do this project.
Wow.
And
Wow is right, and they're not getting anything significantly different or better than what we're getting.
yeah.
But they apparently feel that it's well worth the money spent in order to get this information, and I can certainly understand that. After looking for deeds and whatever for some of the properties recently, and looking at little index cards and hand-drawn plot things, and where does that relate to the town, and this software is just, you click on the town on the map, and it'll come up like a white stick figure thing with a copy of the town, and it's got, like divisions on it, and you click one of the divisions and it'll bring you into a neighborhood, and then in the neighborhood it's got all the different properties.
Right.
And you click one of those and you can bring up the aerial maps and where all the stuff is and who owns it, and it's an amazing thing. And then if you want to jump to the other side of town, it's like boop, and you're there.
Nice.
No, it
And
really
who's
is.
owned it for the last 20 years, whatever information you want to add into this, it's as good as how much input we give it.
And also, what's really nice about this system is you can make it as available or as restricted as you want to online. There may be some things like, obviously, you would not have it on there if a property has an elderly abatement. That would not be part of what would be available to the general public. But, the overall community and the lots and the information regarding the lots, the same things you can get off a tax card, certainly you can make that available. But you also have the way of hiding certain information that is really not public information.
Personal information that
Right.
is not public.
Right.
I
So
bet you the town clerk could even add dogs and stuff onto it, which homes have
Show
dogs.
little
which,
dogs.
Yeah,
Show
little
little
dogs
dogs running around the
and
property.
whatever, or a herd of dogs at your house.
I just see it now.
They don't come in herds, they come in packs, sorry.
But anyway, that's really all I have. I've got other things.
It was very
going.
interesting.
Not enough to talk about anymore.
Okay, great. Just one last thing before we wrap things up. I was approached today by TLC Jewelers and was asked if we would like to have that Santa that they had out front of TLC Jewelers. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
The Santa, it's probably about Joe's height. It kind of dances a little bit. So I said yes. I figured that probably with either Parks or Recreation or somebody would, or Senior Center or here at Town Hall and have some fun. You know, it would be nice.
Why did they want to get rid of the Santa?
They don't have the storage to
Well, that's
facility
too
to do
bad. We could put him over by the flag in the...
say good morning to him every morning.
Oh, yeah. Santa says
Stand there
hi.
while we're having a meet and
We
greet.
just need to pick it up. Somebody needs to go pick it up.
Oh, yay.
I just remembered that just now. He told me this morning, so. It's cute little, it would be nice to have at the Christmas party. It'd be nice,
Yeah.
nice conversational piece, that's for sure. Going at Main Street down at Christmas time, when they had them going out there, you should see the little kids going down there dancing with their grandparents or parents out on Main Street with them. I can just imagine what Town Hall would do with them.
Well, the possibilities are nigh on to endless.
Exactly. So, Chief, do you have anything for us? You got the lockers all up and ready and
Not yet.
functional?
No. The sheet rockers are finishing this week. Hopefully we'll have the painters in next week. And then the electrician and the floors.
How about the plumber?
He came in today,
Yes.
and Magdalene met him and showed him what he needs to do, and he's got to come back, I guess.
Well,
I'm trying to just work with him, be patient. I know they're busy.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time being patient because I really want to see that device in action. We paid a lot of money for that thing. I want to see it.
But I mean, if you're gonna be busting people 4 minutes after they commit the crime, we're busy and we need one.
Yeah, I understand. We need the extra seat.
All right. Is there any more business to come before us?
I make a motion we adjourn?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you for changing to an earlier time.
Yes.
Now we can go home and
Relax.